Do you guys know Boogerhead? He goes by Boogerhead on the internet. He's an internet character. Now, you know good and well, I would never bust a guy's gimmick. If a guy's out there hustling, I will never let you behind the curtain. But he's openly an entertainer. He plays crazy. He plays a madman, but he's openly playing. So I'm not busting his gimmick. That's what I'm saying. Okay. I bring that to you because Boogerhead sends me a DM through something the kids call Twitter. And I had made a video on hamburgers a while ago, but I've also made other videos talking about I happen to know the world's best hamburger, which is a straight up challenge. You come try this burger, you tell me you know a better one, I will get on an airplane and come try it. But I have issued this challenge for well over 2 decades, and nobody has ever said that they know a better burger. So Boogerhead gets a hold of me. He said, man, I got to try that burger. Is this real? I got to try that burger. He says, how about Friday at 5 o'clock? Now, I thought that Booger, I don't feel right calling him Booger Beard, by the way. I really don't, but that's his name. If you want to go find him on Twitter, go look up Booger Beard. So Booger Beard made famous, by the way. A month ago, front row at Adesanya's fight with Vettori, and Adesanya comes out of the crowd and puts the belt on him, anoints him, right? Momentary champion, deputized him. Cool moment. So I thought he lived in the Midwest, and he's got a big beard, and he's got a beard like my buddy Warren Brooks, and Warren's from Kentucky, so I think I just decided that Booger Beard was from like the Midwest. Turns out he's not. He's about 3 hours from me, 2.5 hours from me. Okay, meet me at the Staniches. Let's do this. So anyway, he comes up. Great guy. Couldn't have been a nicer, couldn't have been a more polite guy. I just had a great time visiting with him. But I told him because he really likes psychology. He really likes the psychology of evoking an emotion from the audience. And he's building a pretty damn good audience. And I said, you got to go. It's on YouTube. And you got to watch a documentary called I Am from Hollywood. It's Andy Kaufman and his foray into professional wrestling. And Andy Kaufman it was professional wrestling out in Tennessee in an organization that was owned by Jerry the King Lawler. And Lawler was not only the owner, but that was his territory out there in Tennessee. He was the champion. He was the biggest star, right? Kaufman knows nothing about wrestling other than he's watched it. I mean, not one day of training that's ever been documented or that I've ever even heard a rumor about. Never had a match. That part I can for sure confirm. And he's going to walk right into a main event against Jerry Lawler. Now, by the way, even though this isn't big-time wrestling like Vince is putting on, they got 10,000 tickets to sell. They sell all 10,000 tickets. I would imagine you're probably going anywhere from $10 to $20 at this time. I mean, you're looking at about a $300,000 gate. This is a massive piece of business. Well, what are you going to do when it's time to wrestle and they get in the ring and Kaufman doesn't know how to wrestle? Now, this is part of the brilliance to this whole thing. Imagine this. To become a heel, there's a few things that you can do. You can cheat. You can lie. You're now letting the audience know, I'm the bad guy. Wrestling has taken all of the rules away. It used to be illegal to throw a guy over the top rope. Couldn't do it. Now you can. The referees used to check before the match. They check your trunks, they check your knee pad, they check your boots, and the heel wouldn't let them check, right? The heel turned away. No, don't check that knee pad. No, don't check that knee pad. It was one of these things where then the audience believes that he's hiding something in the knee pad, and maybe he is. Maybe he'll reference that knee pad later in the match, throw something, tuck it back in there. Crowd's going crazy as the referee's looking the other way. There was ways to cheat because there were so many rules. Wrestling's taken all the rules away. There are no damn rules anymore. Well, how do you get any heat? How do you become the bad guy? How do you identify for the audience, I'm bad if you can't cheat? All right. So one of the problems that Kaufman had, if you guys don't know who Andy Kaufman is, he's a comedian and he's brilliant. He really is. He drove people insane, but there was a brilliance to what he did. And he only goes about 160 pounds. Now, Jerry Lawler had a build weight of 260. He was probably about 248, though. He's a big man. He's got a good 80, 90 pounds on Kaufman. Kaufman's never wrestled, doesn't even own a pair of boots. And Lawler's the champion of the territory. I mean, right? It's a tough sell. This is a tough sell. So they started putting out what was called vignettes. Vignette at that term is what you guys would know as a promo. They start putting out promos. But I remember one very clearly where Kaufman's in the backyard. And Kaufman has to explain for his inexperience in wrestling and his lack of size against Jerry Lawler. So when the vignette cuts, the opening establishing shot is Kaufman on top of a woman. And he's pinning her down and she's screaming. She's crying out in pain. And Kaufman's, he's yelling into the camera over the top of her. And he says, "Look at this, Jerry Lawler. You think I'm not ready for you? I've pinned women twice your size." That's a heel move, right? There's few things more heel than a man putting hands on a woman. He's claiming, I've pinned women twice your size. So it's just great. This is one of the many things that he did. All right. They get to the match. Sold out. 10,000 people, main event. What are you going to do when one guy doesn't know how to wrestle and you did $300,000 at the box office to see wrestling? Here's what they did. They made a stipulation that because of the size and experience disadvantage of Andy Kaufman, that he got one hold, any hold that he wants. Once he does said hold, then the match starts. Now, at this time, if there was ever a pile driver in a match, the match was over. And that was not only accepted through North America, that was accepted through Asia as well. And wrestling was huge in Japan. But like, some guys, The Undertaker, by example, the Tombstone pile driver, or some other guys, Paul Orndorff, which is just a regular pile driver. That was their finishing move. I understand that, but what I'm sharing with you is if anybody hit a pile driver for any reason on any continent, the contest was over. Nobody anywhere had ever kicked out of a pile driver. It was the most... So my point is, Andy Kaufman could have started with a pile driver. He could have just finished the match right there or made wrestling rewrite itself. He could have come off the top rope, Macho Man Randy Savage style, dropped an elbow right across his throat. He could have come out and punched him in the nuts. For all, he can do anything. Andy Kaufman's move of choice was a standing side headlock. Vince, could I borrow you? Can you come over here just for a moment? A standing side headlock. Please come to Vince. A standing side headlock is what you do to your little brother, okay? Before you noogie him. This is what Andy Kaufman did. Thank you, Vince. He chooses a standing, I appreciate you doing that, a standing side headlock. So the referee starts the match. Ding, ding, ding. Jerry Lawler picks him up, falls backward. Kaufman never moves again. Ever. Not only did he get pinned 1, 2, 3, he had to get stretchered out of the ring. When I tell you he never moved again, he never moved again. Now this audience who just put $300,000 down and got duped, got a huge middle finger. Well, they didn't feel that way. The guy that they hated is getting carried off in a stretcher. This is wonderful. They got their money's worth. This is exactly what they wanted. And that is a brilliance. And yes, Jerry Lawler gets some credit for that, but that is a brilliance in Andy Kaufman. So I told Booger Beard, I said, you got to go watch this. And I promise you, you're going to like it. But after you watch it, I want you to send me some notes because you're going to learn some pieces of psychology. So I just want you to send me a couple so that I know you watched it. Sure enough. I mean, it was about within 24 hours. I had a full book report. He read everything and he picked everything that I wanted him to pick up. He picked up. This is a student, man. This guy's a student. I encourage you to give him a follow. I'm not busting his gimmick. I'm not busting his gimmick because he's only plays a madman. He's an entertainer. But go follow him. I think that you're going to be entertained.